This is Uncharted, Drake's Fortune. We're on PlayStation 5, taking a look at this first entry in the Uncharted series. Again, being part of this trilogy pack. So what we're getting here is 1080p at 60 FPS, which obviously looks, quite smooth, plays quite well. And this is, of course, that initial part of the journey. This package includes the first 3 games, whereas Uncharted 4 was a standalone, kind of release that was made available later on. Do we kind of... No, I'd rather have the AK. Cool. So yeah, it's just kind of this epic adventure where you're going off on this island looking for this particular special sort of, well, I guess fortune, really, right? Like you want to make it big as this character, and this cover does not help at all in this, like I gotta say. It's kind of crazy. I didn't remember this being so hardcore difficulty-wise. Anyways, this first entry I think is probably the least game that holds up the least in regards to the overall franchise, but it still looks absolutely fantastic in terms of like the quality of the visuals and stuff like that. It looks absolutely lovely. They did some good work sort of improving this one. And, like the character model's great, the fluidity is excellent. It's still got some decent puzzle elements to it, great characters, a well-done narrative. I think some rather exciting moments to it in terms of, like, the content and the places you go to. It's just a really kind of cool experience that I think you should check out if you're ever curious about the Uncharted franchise. I don't know, I myself kind of found it rather interesting. And it's just neat here diving into a random level within the game, basically. I just kind of picked this one because I thought it might be a cool sort of visual setup in regards to, the set pieces and getting a little bit of action going on in this one. There's also like some collectible things to find. Oh, that retextured water, or that overly textured water there is kind of interesting. But yeah, you're exploring this island and you're killing basically like a battalion's worth of enemies along the way, which to me I always thought was a bit ridiculous in terms of, just how many people you kill. I think the final kill count was like a few hundred or something that I ended up grinding through by the end of the adventure, which I was like, holy. And it's just kind of interesting if you go into like the later games where he's talking about, how he doesn't really like to kill people, and it's just like, I've massacred an island's worth of folks. But yeah, the most part, what I'm trying to get across is that it's actually still a pretty cool game. It's got a fun sense of adventure. It's like, like the Tomb Raider games. It's like, I guess I was playing an Indiana Jones game recently, so that's what I'm kind of thinking of. The key is a scissor thing. The key. Oh wow, that's so exciting and interesting that there's that sort of thing there. But yeah, it's kind of a neat adventure game where there's a mix of, I guess, combat, discovery, parkour, exploration. Why did you why did you jump down there? I guess we gotta only move along the ledges there, and then we get across? Yeah, that's what I was thinking, right? There we go. Yeah, it's just got some little aged mechanics that I'm getting used to again, just in terms of like movement in the environment and stuff like that. Can we look back? Ugh. Why would you do that? So I would just get used to this one. What was really cool about this experience for me, really, was the fact that I got to play like all of these Uncharted games. Kind of, can we make that jump, I wonder? Uncharted games all in like one bunch almost. Like I played the trilogy just before, that exciting 4th entry came. So I was actually able to mostly see what everything in this franchise, oh, better watch out, had to offer within a short amount of time, which was nice. Ooh, maybe I should have actually made the dodge there. Oh, it's just a dead body. Do I have to redo the whole climbing thing again? Yeah, okay, well, I guess I should have made that timed event. But yeah, like I was saying, it's some of the mechanics and things at checkpoints haven't aged as well as some of the later games. But I think overall, you know, this is a good way to kind of keep the legacy of the series kind of going, and was also a good way, like with myself in that case, to prepare us for the fourth game, or even a reminder for fans that it's seen like each of the entries in the series over time. And I think, you know, this would actually be a good candidate for like another new package release, if that makes sense, like a sort of master collection of Uncharted, you know, where we could get all of them running. You know, I think at 4K with some upgraded visuals would be nice. I don't necessarily think we need to have that sort of thing. Like, this looks fine, but at the same time, I think down the road, you know, they could do a lot of work in regards to like the texturing and you know, just really upgrading these games to make them last even longer. But this is a fine way to experience what the title has to offer at this time. You know, it still looks pretty cool. It plays really well. That's the big thing, is the fluidity here is just, you know, kind of delightful in my opinion. I love how smooth it works and how like decent it actually looks at the same time. Oh, well, that wasn't worth it. Oh, was I supposed to jump across? Oh, no. Okay. Let's see. Oh, no, that didn't work out. Am I supposed to jump there? Let me think about this. Oh, well, that was close. There's a PS5 going off again, making air sounds. It's so weird. Anyways, just randomly does that. Like, it's just like a cool kind of adventure, right? Going to this sort of like tropical landscape and doing like these parkour challenges and climbing, and I think this one really did kind of set the stage for the titles to follow as they continued to innovate on the technology, and each of them just kind of goes wild in terms of like improving upon, you know, character modeling, world animations and stuff like that. It's really exciting to see what they were able to do with each release. Whoa, okay, I don't really want to drop down and die that way. Just climb back up here. So are we actually supposed to continue, or do we get the skeleton thingy? I think we got the skeleton thingy that we wanted. And now we've got to go back. Drop down, drop down, drop down. And I think there's like a rope over here. Yeah. Okay, well, I thought maybe we'd... We're kind of just jumping across here. I'm just thinking of if the rope is like accessible. Nope. Okay, what am I? Oh, do we just like literally?
Excuse me. Thank you.
Do we literally just like use the rope from up here? Oh yeah. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, it has been a little bit since my last adventure in this world, that's for sure. But it's still kind of a cool time, you know, great action set pieces to it. Really kind of setting the styling for this franchise. And it just kind of like came out of almost nowhere, and it really had this perfect arc over the, you know, the PlayStation 3 generation, I guess you could say. And then continuing onwards with only, well, one main entry on PlayStation 4, but I do think, you know, the whole Lost Legacy thing was kind of cool as well. If you're not familiar with that, that kind of does some interesting things with some side characters, which is exciting. It's definitely worth checking out. So I'm wondering when our next action sequence is. Oh yeah, definitely this area. But yeah, like I was saying, it's got like a neat mix of going from kind of... Oh, that was... I only got one shot. That was a waste. Going from like doing these intense puzzle challenges to, you know, these shootout action scenes. They keep the pacing going well. A little bit of discovery too along the way as you try to figure out what happened here, and, you know, a little bit of mystical elements too, because it's that kind of adventure experience. It's just kind of neat how you mow down all of these, like this battalion of folks that are just doing their job as hired mercs. Whoa, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely not used to how like intensely kind of hardcore this game is at times, if that makes sense. You know, it just seems like difficulty wise it's a little bit of the harder ones of the series, at least in my opinion, or maybe I'm just not used to the intense action here. Anyways, generally quite well done, a fun experience for sure. Definitely worth checking out this package overall if you've never played the Uncharted series to get an idea of, you know, how they're running, understanding the characters, and then being able to experience the later ones. I mean, you don't necessarily need to have played... Where am I even getting shot from? Played these entries in order to appreciate what the later ones have to do. Are they behind me or something? Like, I don't understand where I'm getting shot from. I'm genuinely curious. Like, I'm just kind of getting, like, blasted from everywhere. I was like, what is going on here with these shots? And while this one hasn't aged the best out of the series, it's still a pretty good time. And I will be showing off all of the other Uncharted titles, so, you know, something to look forward to if you want to see how the rest of the franchise is kind of holding up on the platform, which I think is generally fairly well. And hopefully, again, someday in the future, I'll be reviewing some sort of, you know, full package someday, because I think it is kind of inevitable that they will do that sort of thing with these games. And while I don't think this one needs huge upgrades, I think they could do a lot more, you know, with it upgrade-wise in the future for visuals, so that'll be interesting to see what they choose to do with this one, because just someday it's going to happen, right? I don't know if it's going to be this gen necessarily, but we'll have to wait and see. And that is Uncharted.